Hi, I'm Valerie and I talk too much. Welcome to my channel. I don't know if this is your first time here or if you've been here before. Don't even know what brought you here, but I sure am glad you came. Today we're going to talk about when I found our son on Facebook and reunited him with my husband after years of them not seeing each other, and all the fun things that have happened since then, and a couple announcements for our little family. So please, if that's something that sounds interesting to you, pull up a chair and let's talk. So last year for Father's Day, oops, got a cat invading. Let me help her see her way out of the video. So last year for Father's Day, I couldn't decide what to do for my husband. He didn't need anything, so there was nothing to purchase him for Father's Day, and I just couldn't decide what to do. But prior to our marriage, 20 years ago, he had been married and had a stepson. And when they split up, she would no longer let him be a part of that child's life, even though he had helped raise him for 8 years or more. I don't remember exactly how long they were together, but they were married for 8 years. So, and the child was young when they got together. So I decided to try to track him down and see if he was interested in getting back in touch with my husband after all these years. If it worked, great. If not, then I just wouldn't share that information with my husband. I wouldn't hurt him like that. I knew my husband was interested because he talked about him all the time. He never stopped talking about him the whole time we had been together. And I knew he loved him very much. He never felt like he was his stepson. He talked about him as if he was his son. Because that's how my husband loves. He loves with his whole heart. There's no differentiation there. So and we had tried to track him down before, but obstacles had gotten in the way and we'd never been able to. So I looked him up and I finally was able to find him. I found him on Facebook. I sent him a message. He immediately responded. And this was the first time I'd ever been able to find him on Facebook. Turns out, prior to this, anytime he'd had Facebook, he had kept it completely private. So he had just recently opened it up where you could actually search for him and find him. So I sent him a message. He responded immediately. And then I told my husband that he was interested in getting back in touch with him. And they started talking on the phone, sending messages, and we set a time for them to meet at the end of June. And our niece and nephew, who are our great niece and nephew, who at the time were living with us, were up in West Virginia, which is where our son Robbie is from and was living, is living. They were up there for visitation, and we had to go pick them up, and we decided that is when they would visit and meet. Well, it turned out a little while, several days before we were to pick our niece up, the visit wasn't going so well and someone had to go pick her up early. My husband was not able to, so I went up to pick her up early and met Robbie a day or two before my husband was going to be getting up there. My son and I did. So we met Robbie. I figured that was best because then he wouldn't be so focused on, or the least bit preoccupied with meeting someone new, completely new, and could focus all of his attention on reuniting with his dad. and my talking too much wouldn't get in the way because I had a million questions and just wanted to get to know him because we had met once, but that was it. So, and he was a little kid then, and now he was a grown man. So we met, and I didn't want there to be any awkwardness, any uncomfortable, oh, you know what I mean. So Robbie and I met with his brother, and we talked. There was no awkward, uncomfortable, none of that. It was amazing. It was like we'd known each other forever. And we talked and talked and talked and talked for hours. It was fabulous. And then a couple days later, my husband got into town. We met with him again, and it was the sweetest reunion ever. I tell you, it was so heartwarming. My husband is not a man who expresses his emotions very often. He joined the military early when he was young, at a time when if we want you to have emotions, we will issue those to you. It wasn't like the Army is now. They didn't recognize that stuff. So it was very nice to see him just really open with his emotions. And then we visited for a while. We visited all day. And then it was decided after we left to go home. Robbie had been laid off due to COVID, and he hadn't found something new yet. So he decided to come down a few days after we left to come home and visit with us. So that's what we did. He came down and visited with us. His cousin was getting married not too far from us. He went to the wedding, came back to our house, tried to find employment there, wasn't real lucky down there either. This is when COVID had just started to ease up, and you were allowed, things were opening back up, but not a lot of things. Restaurants had just started to open back up where you could go in and eat, things like that. But there was still, it was still pretty, America was still pretty closed. So, in fact, we wouldn't have been traveling if it hadn't been for the fact that we had to pick up our niece and nephew. We wanted to meet Robbie, of course, but we were being very, very safe and very, very cautious, and so was he. So he went back up to West Virginia, found a job, reunited with his girlfriend, and we've just kept in touch this whole time, back and forth and back and forth. And this past spring, so that's been over a year ago, this past spring, he and his girlfriend let us know that she was pregnant. Now, she has 2 children from a previous marriage who we just adore and think are so precious. And we've got to meet them a couple times. We've met her, just absolutely think she's wonderful. She's great for Robbie, and her name is Brittany, and she has 2 children, Michael and Molly. They are wonderful, just wonderful kids. And so, but I had been very, doing what I could, but not really pushing the issue. I didn't want to push the issue of we want to be their grandparents, but then when they told us they were pregnant, that was that. I said, look, and Robbie said, well, what do you want to be called? And I was like, Nana, thank you very much. And I said, but look, if I'm going to be Nana to new baby, I'm going to be Nana to all babies. So they don't have to call me that, but I'm going to do the Nana things because that's what I do. I don't play games when it comes to kids. You don't treat one child different than you treat the other children in a family. When you're a family, you're a family. And that's just how I work. And they were like, oh, thank goodness you said that. That's, what we were hoping for. So that's just how it's been since then. And, if you do play those games, please stop. Just stop. You're just hurting the child. That's all. That's the only person that's getting hurt in this. So don't do that. Just don't. Children don't understand and shouldn't be made to understand. They should be treated the same, all of them, by everybody. So, yeah, that's how that works for children. I'm just saying. Okay, I'll get off that soapbox now. So, we're going soon in September up to the baby shower, and I'm very, very excited because this will be the first grandchild we get to spoil from birth. Michael and Molly got a little late start with them. Not that we're not trying to make up for lost time, because we are. But I think what I want you to understand, and now Brittany and Robbie, in just last week, I believe it was last week, yes, got engaged, and we are so thrilled. We think the world of her. We think she's great for Robbie. We think he's great with her. We think they're great together. We just want them to be happy. That's all you want for your kids. It's just happiness. You want them to be healthy and happy. And we're thinking they make each other happy. And, they're going to have tough times. But we think what they have is worth working through those tough times. And that's what matters. Marriages are full of ups and downs. But having a marriage worth making it through the downs as much as it is enjoying the ups, that's what it's all about. So anyway, but I think the point of this video is that anyone who tries to tell somebody they can't love their stepchild as much as they love their own child is wrong, because you can. Dana now feels like his family is complete again, now with Robbie back in the picture, because he always felt like his son was missing. And I get a bonus son. Thank you to my neighbor for that term. She uses it with her stepmother. She says it's my bonus mom. She doesn't call her stepmom, she calls her a bonus mom. I love that, because I don't feel like he's my stepson. He's my bonus son. I just have a new son, and I'm so grateful for that, because he adds so much to our family. He's smart, he's funny, he's wonderful. And my kids enjoy having another brother. And he's different than all my children, which is wonderful, because they're all different from each other. So that's the story of how we got our I got a bonus son, and Dana found his son, and he got to join our family. And now we have a future daughter-in-law, 2 grandchildren, and 1 on the way. So our family grew, and it's just been wonderful. And there will be more stories about them in the future. I'm so excited about the birth of little Miss Clara. That will be her name. And there will definitely be stories about that. So I think the next video I'm going to concentrate on quitting smoking. Please, please, please like, subscribe, comment, all the YouTubey things. And also let me know stuff that you want to talk about, please. I'm going to cover some mental health stuff and some interesting things I've been learning. We'll talk about all that in a future video. I think I'm going to try to post a video once a week. I don't have enough to talk about. I mean, I can always find something to babble on about. But right now, I can't imagine posting a video more often than once a week, and I may back off and do once every couple of weeks. I don't know yet, but we'll see. Just tell me what you think. And thanks again for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And I love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.